Hell yes. Welcome to The Great Satan, episode 5. I am Jason Fifi. I'm joined with a good buddy of mine named, damn, that song's good. And pause. Cool. I'm here with a good buddy of mine named Tyler Fomby, also known as just Fomby.
How's it going?
we're on that like 1984 CNN shit right now with a delay on the tape, but that's cool. What have you been up to today?
Not a damn thing. It's been my first off day all week.
Hell yes, off days. Loving that. Where do you work? You work a place.
I work two places. I work at a Starbucks and a little bar called Tipping Point.
Right on. Both of those are deemed essential?
Yeah, they're both open right now. The bar obviously is only doing curbside stuff and like alcohol sales, but our Starbucks is still rolling.
Yeah, how has curbside affected your tippage?
I'm not working at Tipping Point right now. I'm just doing Starbucks.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say, damn. Wow. I was gonna like hold off on asking about the whole like essential worker life until later because we were gonna goof a little bit. But damn, let's get right into that. How is it doing like a drive-through coffee service? And do they come into the store? What's going on with that?
No one's going in the store. It's drive-through only, and it's wrapped around the building, and it's actually been pouring onto the road to the extent that it's fucking up traffic.
Yeah, that's awful. When I worked at Starbucks, the worst part of that 18-day period was doing drive-through. So I can't imagine only doing drive-through. That would fucking suck.
Well, they put me on drive-through every day just because I have the clearest voice in the staff, I believe. So yeah,
I wouldn't call it clear. I would call it radio-esque.
I'll take that.
I'd say it's definitely sexy.
Thank you. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
I really love it when like I talk over through the box and someone flirts a little bit, then they just pull the window and get immediately disappointed.
Oh, you're 4'11".
I'm getting there. I'm shrinking by the day, it feels.
Yeah. You just wait, man. When you hit your 60s, you're gonna be 4'10". Seriously, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. My license says 5'2", but I'm pretty sure it's 5'1" now. I think I've reached the age where I'm shrinking.
It's got to be. You need to get into yoga a little bit, body weight fitness. You'll grow. It's crazy.
Like what? How much? Like I'm gonna sprout to like an average height? Like there's really no difference between 5'1".
No, I mean I lied on. Tinder wasn't a thing when I was single, but like I lied on OkCupid and said that I was 5'10", and when I got into yoga, I actually am 5'10".
Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really sad that you missed out on Tinder.
Say it again.
It's really sad that you missed out on Tinder.
I'm really not that sad about it.
I was being sarcastic. It's a fucking nightmare.
I was around for MySpace pussy. A lot of people don't know about you could get pussy on MySpace. Like, yeah, I got that MySpace. I got Friendster pussy.
What about Craigslist?
I got Craigslist gay for pay.
Okay.
The different thing, I wasn't the purchaser, if that makes sense, on Craigslist. I was the meat.
You were the commodity.
Yeah, I was being marketed on Craigslist. Yeah. Damn. That fucking sucks. Are they giving you hazard pay at the coffee shop?
Right now we're volunteer only, so the people who choose not to work are getting hazard pay, and the people that choose to work are getting like a pay bump while they're working during this period.
Got it.
So I'm doing it for the extra money, really.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So you actually are being paid more for working than not working.
Yes, that's correct.
Got it. Okay, because that's not the case for a lot of people.
That's not the case for most people.
Yeah, that's correct. That's pretty cool. Hell yeah. So the reason I'm having you on is because you're a story guy. stand-up comic, one of my favorites in the Tri-County area, of the new guys. You're a story guy. My podcast is about kind of like, I mean, it's the concept is we're going to talk about all the problems, right, of the great Satan, of the American imperialist hegemonic structures, right, as they exist. But what that does is it divides communities. And what that does is say that as a bit right guy, as a joke guy in stand-up comedy, am not supposed to be friends with a guy like you, Mr. Tyler Fomby, who is a story guy, right? We're not supposed
we're trying to build a bridge.
We're building a bridge. We're building coalitions right now. And not only am I doing that because you specifically are a story guy, you're a good story guy, which is special because story guys suck.
Thanks, I think.
I hate stories so much, but I like your stories. I also like that you can tighten it up, right? Story guys can't tighten it the fuck up, and you're able to tighten it up. What is it about you that makes you uniquely able to tighten your stories the fuck up? Is it because you're tiny?
That could be it. Like, economy, I guess, is big. But I think one of the main things is, first off, I almost think of like the story as it's happening.
Yeah.
So like during the process of something weird happening, I try to focus in on the details that I find the most amusing. And then I try to write it down event by event and cut out the shit that, like, if someone else is talking, I'd be like, I'm done. Like,
yeah.
I actually hate people that sit at bars and tell bullshit stories.
Yes.
So I try to think like, all right, if someone was saying this to me, where would I tune out? And then I try to cut that shit.
Yeah, that is a uniquely worker-based perspective on story guying.
Yeah, I don't want to go three sentences without saying something, amusing or compelling in any way.
Right. Yeah. Unlike this podcast, in which I'm going the whole thing without saying anything uniquely or compelling. So awesome. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The shock a girl through your dick blowjob story is also, that's one of those where it's like if you had like 6 sentences of bullshit at the front, I would still remember the story because it's just such a good story. Uniquely, what about your life has made you okay, for the listeners at home, I've always said that if a comic is getting into doing comedy and they're trying to be a story guy, they should just stop until they're 50. Right?
Yeah.
Until I met Fomby, because Fomby has had as many stories as a fucking 50-year-old guy and then some, right? So would you tell someone starting out comedy, hey, stop until you go get your dick sucked and shock a girl with your light, like a light bulb or something, like whatever, like go live a bunch in like 2 years and then start comedy if you're going to be a story guy? Or would you say like, no, your stories maybe are worth telling, but your method of telling them is what makes sense?
I think that first of all, you have to have like something that's a weird, unique experience, which everyone has those, but a lot of people like focus on the wrong one. There are a lot of, I'm sure you've heard 1,000 sex stories just sitting through people doing open mic.
Right.
And you don't want anything that's a universal experience. Because first of all, the odds are someone out there has probably done one of the, like, well, I got hit by a car, or like, I got arrested. You have to like do something that makes yours specific. Like I'm fairly confident no one else is out there talking about cock shocking someone in the face.
Right. That's unique.
Yeah, but also just trimming the fat, I think, is a lot of the important things. Like you can, I'm not going to name names, but one of the last guys I saw do one, he could have cut his story into like a third of the content.
Right. Yep.
It just, there was so much unnecessary bulk.
Right.
And sometimes, like, I've gotten up there, I've had too much to drink, and I've rambled too. It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
But this was just like especially long-winded.
Yeah.
So I think one of the reasons story guys get a bad rap is because instead of a paragraph, they do a novella.
Right.
Like trimming the fat, I think. And I think that's why maybe you and a few of the other guys that typically don't like story guys can put up with me, is because I'm like, this sentence doesn't need to be here. It doesn't further the story. It's not funny. It doesn't say anything about who I am or my experience. So why the fuck is it here?
Right. And normally I don't give a fuck about the stories that say who a person is either on stage. But for some reason, like when you do it, it actually kind of like, well, I know who this person is, and I'm glad he's included that sentence about who he is, you know?
Well, a lot of the my stories are like, it doesn't make sense how I get to point A to point B unless you have some idea of, how my brain works.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
faulty at best.
Right. Well, like your lived experiences change the narrative. So it's super important. Like, one of the stories that, like, this is way before you probably ever started doing comedy. I found a baby in the street one time, and it's one of those stories that, like, I never could make it be like a comedy story. Like, it doesn't fit with the bait and switch format that I do comedy in, and I'm not just bait and switch anymore. I've grown, I'm more dynamic, and there's like me having a stroke on stage parts, and whatever. But I found a baby in the street one time.
See, that's a great opening sentence. Just like to walk up and be like, so I found a baby in the street. That's an attention getter for sure.
Yeah. And it's so it's really weird because it grows, like, depending if I go, here's the experiential part of the story is what I told for like 2 weeks to people. And I don't think I even tried it on stage for the first 2 weeks because it was like, I wasn't positive it had happened. I was like, but I mean, I knew it happened, but I was like, what parts of this that made me terrified for my life were real and which ones weren't, and then what parts of it are compelling, the part that's obviously I found a baby in the street. It was in a diaper walking at 4:45 in the morning on South Capitol Parkway. Right?
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. I was like driving home from a show and like got back to Montgomery and there's a baby there. So I'm like, I get out and then I have a fleece in the trunk, luckily, and like wrap this baby up in a fleece, and it's like in shock. It's like, I shouldn't say baby, I should say toddler, because like it could speak, but it was in shock, so it couldn't speak, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if it'd been out for like an hour, 2 hours, but it'd been out, and it was kind of cold. It was like 50 degrees, which is cold enough for a baby to be like fucking cold.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
especially if it's just in a diaper.
Yeah, it's just in a diaper. And so I pick it up and I'm like, where are you trying to go, buddy? Right? I'm tiny. I'm like 19 years old, right? I'm a little kid. And I'm like holding this baby and like, where are we going? Like, I'm asking him where his house is, And he's like, he said like gam gam and was like pointing, but he was pointing at like the Greek Orthodox church, right? And I was like, that's not your grandma's house, bud, you know? And these people show up in a RAV4, and they had a Mick Ultra can in the cup holder, and they were like, we've been looking all over for this baby. And I was like, I know better now, but what I did then was, hell yeah, you were looking all over for this baby. Here's the baby.
I mean, I don't know. Like, my first thought is I'd be afraid to even pick it up in the first place because my luck, they would walk out just then, and I would be like a kidnapper. I'd be like, call the FBI.
Yeah, I was dumb. I was really fucking dumb. But
Like, I don't look like the kind of guy that should be holding a strange baby.
no, same here. I look at this. Yeah, no, with the holding a baby. So I'm walking around with this baby. They say, can we take that baby? And I go, absolutely, you can take this baby. Like, get this baby away from me. And they took the baby, and luckily they took it downtown. So when I got home, I passed out for like 2.5 hours and woke up for work and thought to call the non-emergency line. So I Googled, this is before smartphones. I had a landline, and I had my landline phone, and I Googled the non-emergency line and was like, and I called it, and I was like, hey, I gave people in a RAV4 a baby. Did they bring it to you? And they were like, absolutely. Is your name Jason? And I was like, yeah, it is. I don't remember telling them my name was Jason, but I guess I told them my name was Jason. And they were like, they got the license off your car, and we looked it up. We know your name's Jason, and thank you for calling. Could you come down here and talk to the detective for a bit? So I went down and I talked to the detective.
I would have been like, no. I don't know.
Well, yeah. So I go down and I talk to the detective, and while I'm there, the baby's mom shows up. And the mom, like, so I talked to the detective for a while. The detective and the, like, whatever is keeping me away from the baby, or not just keeping me away from the baby, but they'd put my fleece blanket in what's it called? Evidence. They put it in evidence on a case, right? And they were like, we're gonna here what we got your
what blanket? Like, did you wrap the kid up in a blanket or something?
Yeah, I had a blanket in my trunk, and I like wrapped the baby in it because it was fucking freezing. And like, it was like, I could tell that the baby was old enough to talk, right? But
Yeah.
the baby, this is one of those lines I should have kept in the earlier part. Again, that's why I'm not a story guy. In the early part of the story, the baby was past shock, like where it'd been in shock so long, it couldn't cry anymore, right? Like, it was crying, but just in its diaphragm, where its fucking face couldn't cry anymore. It was just like, like that between words. Like, it was, again, fucking terrifying. Like, this baby's about to fucking die. So I'm like grabbing whatever. If I hadn't had a fleece in my trunk, I would have taken my clothes off and like wrapped this baby in my clothes. Right?
Oh, that would have been a fantastic look.
That would have been that would have been great, I'm sure. So
you would still be like you'd still be a dot on that website.
Yeah, exactly. They'd be like, this naked guy found a baby. Yeah, no.
That I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah, lucked out, had a fleece blanket in my trunk, wrapped the baby in it. And so I talked to the cops, tell them what happened, where I found it, how I walked door to door, being like, I knocked on like 7 doors being like, is this your baby? And at 4 a.m, people have to like get out of bed. So every knocked door is like 3 minutes. So that like walking around before the RAV4 shows up is like probably 30 minutes solid of me walking around with a baby in like baby blue fleece blanket, right?
So are you knocking on doors and being like, hey, is this yours?
I mean, I think that was what was in my brain, was to be like, have you ever seen this baby? Do you know where this baby belongs? Right? Like, no one came to the door, right? It was always like, go away, but from the other side of a door.
Yeah, if I would have answered someone, I would have been like, I'm going to call the police because this dude might hand the baby to the wrong person.
That would have been preferable. If a cop had shown up, I could be like, take this baby, please. And that's why I think why the RAV4 thing was like, you know what? Fuck it. If you said, hey, did you find that baby? I go, yeah, I found this baby. Take it. Like, they took it downtown. And my instincts, luckily, as dumb as they are in hindsight, right? Like, that's the dumbest thing you can do. If you find a baby, guys, if you're listening to this, ladies, non-binary people, do not give a baby to strangers in a Toyota RAV4 with a Mick Ultra.
Mick Ultra in the cup holder.
Yeah, don't do that, right? At least they should be drinking Fratty Natties, right? Do not with the Mick Ultra. So the detective questions me a little bit. We talk about where I found the baby. Obviously, my story didn't change. I remember to the house number what block the baby was on when I found it. It was the exact point where the divide happens on South Capitol Parkway, right by the Greek Orthodox Church. I was coming right past Highland. So it was perfect. Like, I knew exactly where I found that baby. So they were on my side, right? And so then we finished the questions. I go, hey, I've got to get to work. They go, cool, we're done questioning you. I said, this is my phone number. That's my house line. Leave a message. If I'm not there, I'll call you back as soon as I get home, whatever. And they're like, cool. So I leave and go to work. And as I'm like walking out the door, I see a mid-20s woman and like a dude in his early 50s, like walking up looking like a mom that lost her child and the grandfather of a lost child, right?
It's a very specific look.
Yeah, it's a real specific look. And I don't remember being like, hey, I found your baby. Like, I didn't remember doing that. Just like, I got to get out of here and go to work. 4 months later, I'm on a website called freecycle.org. On freecycle.org, you can give people stuff. You can ask people for stuff. And I was just like, hey, at the time, I was like, hey, I'm a music teacher. I'm in college. I need any musical instruments you have for free. I'll fix them because I teach lessons to underprivileged children just as a thing I do on the weekends, right? That's the only post I made on the whole thing, right? Got a bunch of cool stuff out of it. Most of it I gave away. Almost all of it I gave away. Some of it I burned because it was funny to me to burn a Hammond B3 organ, a real one.
Dude.
Yeah, I know, I'm an asshole. Yeah. So,
kicking in the stained glass windows of that Greek Orthodox church.
Yeah. So this lady messages me though, and she says, hey, about 7 months ago, you didn't happen to find a baby, did you? And then I was like,
who keeps up with these things?
Yeah. So I said, about 5.5 months ago, I found a baby, maybe 6. I don't know. Numbers are hard. And she said, yeah, it was about 7 months ago. You found a baby on South Capitol Parkway. And then I said, yeah. And she said, that was my baby. would you like to get coffee and talk about it? So I'm a single 20-year-old dude, right? So I'm
Right.
like, yeah, let's,
Yeah.
hey, you want to get coffee? Wait, you trying to get coffee? So I'm like, yeah, let's get coffee. Um, wait, you're buying coffee? I drink a lot of coffee. Usually people don't buy it for me. So we got coffee at the Starbucks on Eastern Boulevard. Um, and she was about 4 minutes late, which was just late enough that I'd already got my own coffee.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So she didn't buy me coffee, but she did explain to me the concept of uh, eloption or eloption. It's a thing that like autistic kids do where they just fucking bail, right? Where they just like, so she didn't really explain the concept, but she said her husband was in the Air Force and she was like left with these two kids. And then she would like 2 nights a week leave both of them at her parents' house. And her parents lived in Capitol Heights. And they had figured out how to open the windows.
Wow.
Yeah, of the bedroom, the guest bedroom at her parents' house. Because she was like, oh, yeah, at our house, I have like 6 locks on every door. They're not getting out without telling me they're getting out, you know? But this kid would just fucking bail. And he was like a superhero. Like, he was like, oh yeah, you've got a lock on the door? Nah. It was like 8. Like she said that he kept 8 bricks on the windowsill, like along the line of the window, to be like. So this kid at that I'm thinking's a baby, right, is actually like 7.5.
Gotcha.
No, he's 2, but he's a baby. He is a baby. I was not that dumb. He's like 7.5, but this naked baby lifts the fucking thing up and knocked the bricks off, and then did it again, and gets the window open and jumps out and like runs to the Greek Orthodox church. And when he was saying the Gam Gam part, like going to Gam Gam's house, he was actually saying he wanted to go back the way he came. And the pointing was the direction he wasn't coming from. It was the opposite. He was saying, I'm going that way, but Gam Gam, and which meant back the other way. So he was literally telling me to go the opposite direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So out of that story, what fat would you cut out?
Well, first off, I'm kind of interested. Like, is that all she did? Like, that was it. She's like, "Hey, this is
I mean, she gave me
eloption or whatever," and then she fucked
no.
off.
We went to Chili's right after that. She gave me an over the pants hand job.
See, that's a detail you can't leave out.
No, I'm leaving that part out. No, that part's not funny. That's just how you steal valor. I mean, not steal valor. Sorry, that's how you diminish the value of valor, right? You say like, hey, no, that's your duty as an American if you're not in the military is to fuck military wives.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not part of the
I'm not
story.
sure I would leave that. If I would probably leave out a regular, but over the pants after Chili's.
No, at Chili's.
At Chili's, yeah, you can't leave that.
No, that part didn't happen. I'm joking.
Oh, see, I don't know.
Okay, yeah. See, that's why joke guys and story guys need to collaborate more. So I think the taking the kid to the police could be faster, right?
Well, also, like, you're a Joe guy, so definitely, um, I would insert like maybe some observational things that went through your head along the way, if you could think of that.
Okay.
Um,
Like in
But
that.
yeah, I don't know. That was more gripping. I wasn't even thinking about that in terms of comedy so much. It was just fucking weird. But
Yeah,
I love the line just like, so I found a baby.
yeah. As an
Or you can play
intro,
it down like it's normal. Like, you know how sometimes you find a baby?
y'all ever hey, y'all motherfuckers ever find a baby? Like real like 80s Def Comedy Jam, like
Oh, yeah.
observational.
Opening for like Eddie Griffith.
Yeah, my man in the front row, no, he been finding babies. my man smiling because he been finding babies. Um, like that concept is good. Yeah, I like that. Um, no, it's yeah. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Is like I
I
think
would definitely throw in like, you know, how in retrospect you did so many things wrong. But like, first off, no business carrying a baby going from door to door knocking around.
no business. Yes, that is great. Yeah. The
Was
concept.
so did you ever find out who were the people that like the Michelob people?
They saw the baby on Yancey. This that okay. That's the
You
best
could have been
part.
like returning a baby to its kidnappers.
They saw the baby 6 blocks away, right? 2 hours earlier, right? This baby got out at 2 o'clock at the minimum, right? And they saw this baby walking down Yancey and were like, let's see how this plays out, right? Then they get in the car and go get the baby or go looking around for the baby. And they find me holding the baby. And they think because they saw the baby 2 hours previous and had talked to the cops that it's okay for them to take the baby to the cops.
Yeah. Why wasn't your first move just to call the police and be like, hey, there's a fucking baby?
No cell phone. This is pre-cell phone.
Got you. So you weren't anywhere. I thought maybe you were close to where you lived. All right.
I was a block away from my house.
Yeah, I think I probably would have just walked the kid there and made the
No,
call.
I'm not taking that baby to my house. Fuck that.
I don't know.
No,
I might have risked that because then you at least have something. But
nah.
yeah, I would have definitely like the first like way to call the police. I would have. I
Yeah.
actually like a couple of years ago, I was driving through Tallahassee and I saw a kid hitchhiking. My first thought was like, Jesus, it's freezing. But the only thing I did is like, luckily, like I had a cell phone, so I just called the cops. But anything else could have been bad. Like, hey, get in, I'll give you a ride home, like, or take you to the police station. No, like
Nope.
you don't know this kid. Like you know, you just 12-year-old starts trying to blow you. It looks like maybe you were the villain.
Yeah. Yeah, in hindsight, if I had been like 6 months older, it would have been like it would have been a little bit weirder, right? Like I had hair, like I had some of my hair back then, so I looked like a person that's like not trying to fuck like kids, you know? Like if you saw me carrying a random baby now, call the police, right? Don't let a person that looks like me or Bill Gates or Jeffrey Epstein or Joe Biden near a child.
Or me, for that matter.
Or anybody white, basically.
Yeah, that's actually probably fair.
I think,
Unless they look like Dick Van Dyke or something. Even then,
even then, yeah, Henry Winkler looks like Dick. No, Henry Winkler probably doesn't. I don't think Henry Winkler's a bad guy.
no, I don't think so either.
I don't know. I should Google his net worth. And then if it's over $900 million, he's a bad guy.
He has a son named Jukebox that he hits.
With a sack of oranges. Blah! Oh my God. Yeah. It's depressing to think about, like, the change from like landline to cell phone, and like what part of that is where we started getting like hella suspicious of everybody you know, every moment in public space.
Yeah, well, there's first off, there are two factors, and they kind of go against each other. One is that um, it was easier to get away with nefarious shit before everyone had a camera and information bank on them at all times.
Right.
So more things are being reported. But on the other side of it, yeah, where I was going with this.
Me too.
I think that since more stories are reported, we're suspicious. I'd say disproportionately to the number of incidents that actually happen.
Yes.
So I would say those two things make like for an overcorrection.
Yeah, that makes sense. So like there are I almost started to yes and that concept to like 2 degrees further and be like, billionaires aren't more likely to be pedophiles now. They're just more likely for us to find their black books,
Yeah.
flight logs. The other side of the cops haven't been killing black people that long. We just know about it now. You know? It's not different. We just know that they're doing it. Yeah. No, I like that. But then on the other side, yeah, you're right. On the other side, it is like,
Since there's such a barrage of these stories, that you just like naturally see a person like, yeah, they're probably gonna eat that fucking baby. Like,
yeah,
mine automatically goes to the darkest place.
yeah. It's why instantly, like, I don't. When someone's like, I made 6 or 8 months ago, I made a Google Chrome extension that took every word, like every time the word billionaire, I
Mm-hmm.
just replaced it with pedophile. And it made everything really confusing. Because what if it says billionaire pedophile?
Pedophile.
Yeah, it just says pedophile now. And that doesn't make any sense. And then going the other way, where it's like, um, you know,
If you change every time it says pedophile to billionaire,
that gets really difficult because then it's like all of these like rural, like teenage black kids, you know, poor
yeah,
kids getting arrested for like finger banging somebody 6 months younger than them, you know.
everybody's a clampet in this world.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the clampets, I was thinking about that, like the old, like, you know, you're shooting up some food and then you hit the ground, and then up from the ground comes something that's worth -$0, right? It's worth -$12 a gallon, a barrel, right?
Yeah.
Like, man, fuck. What am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with this -$12 a barrel well in my yard? Fuck this.
It's like, I'm gonna have to spend all this money on barrels.
Fuck. You know, a barrel is $115. And we called on the first episode of this. I talked to Will, and sure enough, I checked it out because I have a couple of little like acres that are not necessarily regulated acres, and it was like, oh, what about putting a barrel on that acre for $37? You want to give me some $37? How about that times 1,000? And they were like, yeah, we'll do that, but technically it was inside of a county limit, so you have to be outside of the city limits to like any kind of county limit to store barrels of barrels of oil that are unrefined crude. So anyway, long story short, really rich people that have a lot of land that is unincorporated land could store barrels of oil for $37 a piece for like 2 days and make ungodly money. Last week or this week. That's like 4 days.
Time doesn't have a meaning anymore.
Time doesn't exist in quarantine.
Yeah, time used to be just a concept. Now it's not even that.
Yeah, it's not even a concept. Let's pause for like 2 seconds because I gotta pee really bad. You gotta pee? You doing good?
I'm good.
Hell yeah. Pause. After the break, Arcade Fire, Neighborhood number 2, Leica. That is what you're drinking. It is a bourbon barrel aged thing by a place. Who makes that?
Straight to Ale out of Huntsville, Alabama. That's why the name, because the Space Center.
Hell yeah, Space Center. I do like seeing Americans recognize that they're basically standing on the shoulders of communist giants.
It's a rarity, but it is nice to see.
Yeah. Speaking of which, this is Publix brand orange soda, diet orange soda, of course, because I don't drink sugar. What am I doing? And the raspberry sparkling water really gives this vodka a little bit of a something.
Are these your sponsors?
Man, if Publix wanted to sponsor this, I would be really surprised. I don't know if I would be thrilled or terrified, though, right? Because on the one hand, it would mean that I'm like doing something that enough people want to see. But on the other hand, it would mean like I'm an asset for like probably not great people, you know?
Well, that's going to be being sponsored by anybody.
Yeah. That's kind of what I meant by that. It's like I don't want to be beholden.
Sephora.
Yeah.
Didn't they just like lay off all their fucking workers like a week into this?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was good of them to do that. I mean, it's weird too because it's like at this moment in history, is a layoff really a layoff, or is it like you're being let off death row? You know.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I know a lot of people that are making more since this by
For
just
sure.
working the system than they are. Which I mean, that's kind of a bad thing when you think about some of the jobs people are slaving away at, and then they're making more during a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Being better off during a pestilence.
Yeah. Our mutual, really good buddy, George Broken Notebook Collins, he is both working and also on the other job not working, and he's making more on the not working job than he is on the working job. And he is working, you know.
He went out to Vegas, didn't he?
Yeah, he's in Vegas, and I don't know which company he's allowed to say he works for, so he'll be on the pod on Wednesday. That's his next off day. But if I understand correctly, he has one job where he was inessential and one job where he was essential. And the one where he's essential, he's still working, no hazard pay, no union, no nothing. And the one where he's inessential, meaning like, you know, like most people, inessential, he's getting unemployment, which means that he gets like that Bernie check for $600 a week. So he's making more not working than he is working, and he's still working.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm not an exception really, because when I look at it, I mean, I'm actually getting more hours than typical just because we have a shorter staff, and then I'm making the pay bump on top of that. So this has actually been a little profitable for me.
Yeah,
and I got that little Trump change.
Yeah, so it's crazy too. Like I put the Trump check, again, I put that in scare quotes because that's a Bernie check, but the Trump check is, when you put it in historical context of like other demand side recessions and how like even neoconservatives handled the same thing. Like if you look at pre 9/11, how George W. Bush handled his demand side recession, he gave every you know, two-person family, you know, $3,600 in 2000 money, right? So that's more than 2,400 in today money, right? Of course. And then you solo get $1,200. Like, that means the Trump check is smaller than the W check, and W is considered one of the worst war criminal piece of shit presidents we've ever had.
I mean, but his father got the cross from Hitler. Right?
Yeah, and his dad stole countless millions of dollars worth of art and gave it to, what's that college in South Carolina? There's a private Christian college. It's like
I'm not going to think of it.
It's in like Greenville, South Carolina, and it's the largest collection of stolen Nazi art in American history. All exists in this one place, and it was 100% HW's dad. Yeah, fuck the Bushes for sure. Like, that's the only reason.
I think Katie's okay.
Who?
Kate Bush.
Oh yeah, Kate. Fuck yeah. Yeah. We'll go out on when we go out. I've got to have a thing pulled up to be like ready to go. Oh, fucking ads. YouTube is the worst thing to use for like DJing music. Like, it's great but it's the worst thing that's ever existed also.
Man, I've probably used YouTube more in this than I have in a while, just because they have we've talked about how I love my shitty martial arts movies, and they have so many of like the obscure '90s ones just in their full length.
Have you watched the one about what's the Brazilian dance fighting? My man walking away for a second to like bring it up. It's called like
Only the Strong with Mark Dacascos.
Yes, me and my little brother and I text about this all the time. It's the best film. Show it again for a second. Only the Strong. I'm gonna put the YouTube link in the show notes for this episode. Only the Strong. The whole fucking thing is on YouTube.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of shit on there.
Next Saturday, what's your off days?
I'll probably be off next Saturday. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air with this.
Hit me up in the DMs, whatever. We'll work it out. But we can watch. So Zoom has a thing where you can like both be on cam and then a thing play, and then you both watch it and talk about it, and we can watch Only the Strong.
Absolutely, I'd love to do that.
Anything up on YouTube. So I'm gonna put it in the show notes that we're gonna watch that for sure. Let everybody watch it leading up to it, and then we'll talk about it because it's a great, like, it's both in story structure. It's exactly every sports movie,
right?
And every like after school special anti-crime movie.
Oh, dude, I watched one that's like it's called Showdown the other day. It's pretty much a shitty version of the Karate Kid. Like Billy Blanks, Taibo Billy Blanks is the Mr. Miyagi type character. All the high school students are at least in their mid-30s. It's terrific. It was so fucking bad. The bad guy is Patrick.
When the fuck was this made?
What's that?
When was this made?
I'm sure in the 90s. I'm not sure the exact thing, but like it's probably, I think it's on YouTube, but if not, it's on Amazon Prime. But yeah, I can tell you about tons of these. Just like there was this like little group of actors that people like. If you couldn't afford Van Damme, you got Billy Blanks or fucking it's just Gary Daniels.
Yes,
and a lot of these guys are actually moved better. If you like, I like the choreography, so I watch a lot of these. But also just because they're so fucking dumb plot wise. But yeah, it's definitely, it's not even a guilty pleasure anymore.
No, it's just a regular pleasure.
Oh, absolutely. Like nothing beats like a shitty day at work and then coming home and just watching some retired brain damaged kickboxer try to act like clearly just like reading off the cue cards.
It's so good. Actually, I bet Kyle Miner has not seen Only the Strong. So when we like cooperatively watch Only the Strong, we should have him on.
Absolutely. I love Kyle.
Yeah, same here. He's one of my favorite human beings. I was gonna have him on about like the healthcare industrial complex and like you know exercise or something because he's just a genius in general. But like that would be a really fun one is to just see him have to sit through Only the Strong.
I'm not sure he would enjoy it.
I don't think he would either, but if we could get him to agree to sit in and watch it,
Probably just tear the thing to pieces.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. Is like
Absolutely.
his not enjoying it is parody law. It makes YouTube not make us unmonetizable.
Yeah. I don't know how much free time you got, but I'll send you a link or two that are like to movies that will make Only the Strong look Oscar worthy.
Right. Yeah, I think we've talked a few times about Only the Strong, and I always forget the name of Only the Strong, which is crazy. I'll text my brother like once every 3 weeks. Hey, what's that Brazilian jiu-jitsu movie? No. What's the dance fighting called?
Capoeira.
Capoeira. I'd be like, yo, what's that Capoeira movie? And he'll be like, Only the Strong, dumbass. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Only the Strong.
It's a great quarantine movie. The fight scenes, if they were 6 feet apart, would just be a dance battle.
Yes. Yes. Only the Strong predicted this.
Yes, this is
Only the Strong predicted fighting in the age of coronavirus, and Trotsky predicted politics in the age of Trump.
yeah. Those, I mean, Trotsky and Mark Dacascos. Those are. If you don't study those, are you even?
Yeah. Are you? Do you even leftist?
Actually, Mark Dacascos, he was in the last John Wick movie.
Really?
I think nowadays he just has done that and just like Iron Chef.
I don't know. See, it's crazy because I don't know enough to know that you're joking.
No, he's the chairman on Iron Chef, the American version.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he just like a dope eater? Like he just loves eating?
No, he's just like the stern guy that announces shit at the beginning and the end. He's like Nick Cannon in whatever fucking talent show that is. Only with an air of severity.
So you think you can dance fight?
Yeah, he should make that show. I'd watch it.
Speaking of battles, I recently discovered this guy, and today I went on like a deep dive first thing in the morning, right when I discovered him. This guy, his name's Blind Fury. Are you familiar with this guy?
His name is Blind Fury?
Yeah, he's a South Carolina battle rapper, and he's blind, right?
I've heard about
White
it. I
guy.
haven't seen anything from it, but yeah, I remember someone discussing it. Yeah,
Yeah. So here's how I discover him. I discover him because on
it might have been
Twitter-
you actually. I think you mentioned this on that trip we took to Columbus.
No, I discovered him today.
Oh, then I don't know.
He gets brought up, like I see him in my timeline because people are having discourse about this guy, Blind Fury, having an inward pass.
Well, he can't see color.
Right. That's what they're saying. Like that's what Black Twitter says. Black Twitter says, like this. Well, it gets better. So he's 20 plus years deep in being one of the greatest battle rappers of all time, right? He's so
how does that work? Like, how does he trash people without seeing them?
It's great. It's actually better because he's like somebody has to give him like cues as to like how short they are or tall they are and go, and then he just has to like off the dome come up with stuff. It's great. It's actually a benefit, right? Like his disability is a thing that becomes a thing that everybody attacks him for, right? So he already knows what they're going to attack. And then it becomes this thing that informs his ability to attack others, right? So it's kind of interesting. Anyway, long story short, he doesn't say the N-word, right? There's all this discourse about him saying the N-word being cool, right? Black Twitter's like, I mean, if he says it, he says it. Like, he doesn't see color. But it turns out the line that people said he was saying it, he says the bar before it, he was talking about Coke, and then he says up in your nose, and it sounds like he said up in your, and people thought he meant it like that he was raping your whole crew, right?
Okay.
So contextually, it was kind of ambiguous, but it just meant that he sold everybody Coke.
Gotcha.
Way better line, right? Just like I'm like this much of a baller, Coke, and then it's already, you don't even know my name and it's already in your nose, right? Like great fucking line. And it's also really interesting because it's like there's this it's fun to think about discourse on a thing where there's actually no stakes, where it's like he's not wading into this discourse at all. He's on Twitter. He's really funny on Twitter, it turns out. But his computer has to talk to him before he can be like, yes, computer, please tell the internet that this, right? So it takes him a long time to do stuff. So he doesn't like read his replies, and he's not like listening to his mentions or anything. So it's really interesting. But I've been like on this giant binge of this dude. Shouts out, and anybody listening to this, check this guy out. His name is,
I'm gonna do it right after we get off here.
yeah, Blind Fury. There's like giant comp videos of him on the YouTubes, and at 106 Park, he wrecked everybody he went up against. This guy does not miss. One of my favorites, he goes up against this like little ass Texas white boy in like Duke blue that's just looking like, he looks like a squared up pit bull, but then during Blind Fury's bars, he looks like he's crying behind his eyes, like he's got to put a dog down, like he's hurt in the face. It's crazy to watch this dude just dismantle everybody, and not even like what they look like. He just listens to their bars, like their whatever their fucking shit is. He listens to it and he goes,
just reactively tears the shit apart.
Okay, I can't see that this dude looks like a albino Jonah Hill, but I'm gonna, okay. Oh, I know his insecurities now. And are you ready for me to go? Would you like me to go? And Rex's whole shit. It's so good. It's so good. And this dude's like probably 65 by now. I don't know how old this guy is, because like I've seen videos from like as far back as like 97. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. And he also like it's interesting to watch like in context of like spelling bee autism, where you're like like he does that.
Yeah.
He does that with his hands. He doesn't do that part, but he does like
it would be better if he just had an inhaler like right before a bar. And then
yeah, he does this though with his hand, He's like that. It's really great. He just dismantles people's whole shit, which is really good. There's a guy.
Is that an autism thing?
What's that?
Is that an autism thing with the hands?
The in spelling bees it is, yeah.
It's like it's weird because I was just thinking like it was pointed out to me semi recently. A mannerism that I have is when I'm like trying to think of like when something happened, like I do this, but I'm not actually counting like with my fingers. It's just
Right.
something. It's I don't even think about it.
Yeah, so
I mean, I'm for sure on the spectrum. I just didn't know if that was part of it.
yeah, stimming is a part of it. So like for me, I do it with this finger and I do it with this thumb, and that's like my stimming thing. But
Yeah.
some people do it with like whole finger like this, and I keep
See,
it.
I do it in order. Like,
Yeah, big time. When I had my fingernails longer for guitar, I was really bad about the middle one, and I'd do both ways, and then I'd do this, you know.
that's something. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've been picking up the guitar a little bit more during the quarantine. Like, it's another one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
hobbies, and like it's weird how like if you put it down for a while, you have more ideas and places to go, but like all the mechanics are just fucking gone.
Yeah, yeah. I love that shit. That's kind of my favorite thing about you know, quitting so many years ago and then like getting back into it, where it's like you don't forget how music works, but your hands just don't fall into the same traps that they used to. So
Yeah,
things,
yeah. You're not like in the pentatonic box. Like
yeah,
you're just kind of.
yeah, exactly. So that's been really fun. Um, I've been having a lot of fun with like open tunings, or like not even open tunings, but like new, just weird fun tunings. Been writing a lot in Skip Six. Are you familiar with Skip Six?
I'm too lazy to like retune. Like it's like I don't even fuck with drop D most of the time. To be honest, I pretty much stick to standard. Listen to the Police.
Hell yeah. Skip Six is where you take your E and you drop it to a B,
Okay.
the low B. So the low E. So it's called Skip Six because it's like a 7 string with no E string.
Yeah. Okay.
So it means you skipped the 6th string. So skip six, also called just drop B, or I've heard some people call it prison sex. Uh, but I think that's like referencing a Tool song. But like Pentagram used to use the same tuning. That's way older than Pentagram. So I think,
Prison 6 would make more sense.
yeah, call it Prison Six. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get too
Oh,
far away from it, we were
thesis,
talking about
antithesis, synthesis.
there you go. But before we get too far away from it, we were talking about B movies, and it was funny to me because Blind Fury is actually this shitty movie with Rutger Hauer, where he like is a blind dude that kills a shit ton of drug dealers with a samurai
Yes.
sword.
Yes. When I was telling Zane about it, and Zane was like, he sent me the trailer to that movie, and it was like, I've got to watch.
That is definitely worth a drunk watch.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a triumph of the human spirit.
He takes the sword. He takes the sword and he like hands it to the two guys at once, and then they drop it, and then he kicks it up, and he's like, "Wha!" It slices them in the fucking face.
It's ridiculous, but it's great.
Yeah,
But
it's really good.
the other thing I was thinking about, you know how you're saying that in the rap battle, he obviously knows they're going to target the blindness, so he kind of knows what's coming. Do you ever feel that like in roasts? I've never actually been part of one.
Big time.
That's
Big time.
like, I wouldn't mind being roasted, but like I've always had the concern that it would all be short jokes, which don't bother me. But it's like there's so much more wrong that I think it'd be a waste.
It is. And with roasts, it's fun with roasts because like I think I know where people are going to go with it. And then it's really interesting to see where they actually go with it.
Yeah.
where like I know if you're on a set, I know you're going to be on it. I'm not going after you for being short, right?
Yeah.
I would go after things. So I always go like, what do I admire about this person? And then I pretend that's literally the opposite thing.
Gotcha.
So I would call you a deadbeat dad, right? I would
Okay.
call you, uh, I would call you, like a square, right? Then I would take on like aesthetic things, not aesthetic things, short, tall, fat, skinny. I would take on uh, fashion choices, right? You wear a fedora. So I wouldn't say you wear a fedora. I would call you an incel. So you're both a deadbeat dad and you're an incel,
First
right?
off, I would never wear a fedora.
What is
If
that? As a
anything,
trilby.
yeah, I look like a newsie. I'll take a newsie.
Okay, you're a newsie. Yeah, correct. Same
Which, but
concept.
that would feed right into the short joke too.
Yeah. He's 7 years old. He's an ununionized news worker.
Yeah. Due to child labor laws, he used to wear a prosthetic beard.
Yeah, otherwise they won't pay him anything.
But yeah, that was the thing. Like, it's not that they offend me. I just feel like I've heard most of it. And occasionally someone will hit me with a short joke where I'm like, that was awesome. But like most of it's just reused. So when I turned 30, I thought about like seeing if I wanted to be a roast, but I just decided not to because I feel like it would just be 2 hours of short jokes and that just wears. Like
Right.
it just becomes like not funny. Like, all right, like come on, like crippling alcoholism, terrible decisions,
Right.
ugly as fuck, single father. Like there's more shit. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, absolutely. And it's still, especially in our scene, it's really interesting to watch it's this growth and then drop and then growth and then drop and then growth and then drop, because as people come into it and they find the height of their own voice and they go, oh yeah, I'm not good at this, and they stop.
Yeah, like I really hate like some of the guys that did it a long time before I did. Like, just to watch them quit is upsetting. Like, I mean, I understand it's discouraging, especially in this area.
Right. Oh, I think I'm almost envious of it because it's like, I mean, the recognition that as good as they're going to get is not good enough. I can't, you know what I mean? I can't be like, man, keep going. You might get better, you know?
There's also that, but like, there's something to be said just for it being like a tool of expression. Like, I have no illusions that I'm gonna like be on fucking Jimmy Fallon, but it's more just like it's yeah, like on fuck yeah. That's exactly one of the reasons, one of many.
Yeah.
But it's also just like you go to more like 1048 and you see a guy playing, he knows he's not going to get a fucking record deal and just be on the cover of Rolling Stone, but as a
Right.
form of expression, he enjoys it, so he does it till he's well in his 50s and probably will until cancer takes his throat.
Right. Literally. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Shouts out Ziggy. Um, uh, no, seriously, the thing I guess I'm excited about, or not excited about, the thing I'm saying is good, is that those people that recognize that they're not content to be at 1048 when they're 62 and dying of cancer, and they're definitely not ever going to be Sean Rouse, and they're never going to be Doug Stanhope, right? And they're never going to be those types of like comic type of even the bottom of legends, right?
right.
Where you can be just a guy that's respected by everybody and you die loved by people that did it. Um, they fucking back out knowing their illusions about what they could do was so dumb right? And so ill-founded, like that they are like, you know, that stupid thing I wanted to do isn't going to happen. I'm not going to be on Fallon. And I don't have anything interesting to say, so I'm never going to be a legend. And in the middle of this weird bust, like this boom cycle, I'm definitely never going to like crack past the top 15,000 comics in the country, you know.
Yeah,
So
but like I don't know that I just this is probably like some of the like the more hippie bullshit you'll ever hear me say, but like there's something to be said I think for like if you do consider it an art, which I'm sure you do, expression like it doesn't have to go anywhere, it doesn't have to result in
right, no,
fame.
I think by force of us both doing this during a quarantine that we are both on board with the idea that
Yeah,
this is not about making $1 billion. It's about expression. It's about a thing.
or even 30 for that matter.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good pick on the number. You remember the
Yeah,
payout from that Columbus show. Yeah.
I think my
Um,
favorite thing is still when you told me you guys did that place neglected. The guy was using the keyboard with the laugh track.
yes. Goddamn. Holy shit.
That is
That was a fun room though. Man, it sounded like people were laughing. No. That was fucking horrific. God damn, that's a great story.
yeah, like you should definitely just
Yeah.
see that's one I would definitely work into something because that's just
Did
so
you ever
fucking
do
bizarre.
that
I can't.
room?
What's that?
Did you ever do that room?
Fuck no.
Me and Trey Brown and Kurt Keller and Henri Cherami did this room that the guy that owned the place had a keyboard with a laugh track on the keyboard in the PA system, and he would sit like behind the board and like as he thought the joke was landing, he would
Which I'm
hit the
sure he
laugh.
was not right all the time.
Not even close. Especially for me, when I would do like bait and switch, it was like the switch would get the joke, would get the laugh, and the switch would not get the laugh. So
That's
I'm
the thing
like,
about you. You're like really fucking fast.
yeah, that's the whole fucking thing with me is my speed. It's like, I don't need you. There's people here. They're supposed to do that. Let me play the rhythm of this room. And he's like not letting me do it. It was crazy. It worked great for Trey. Like it worked really good for Trey. Because it was like Trey slowed down, you know, he like pulled the metabolism down and goes, you know what? This is the reality I'm in. I'm going to let this guy do this stupid shit with the keyboard. And then I'm going to like look at him funny.
Yeah.
Like that worked really good. But for me, it was like 2 jokes in, I go, hey, could you not do that?
Last thing, like I can't even fathom how I'd react because that's not like something you account for. It'd be like, yeah, well, what do I do if an ostrich walks on stage? Like it's fucking insane that
Yeah.
this guy was just like, I'm gonna make this an episode of like just a fucking Chuck Lorre sitcom. Like it's unfathomable.
It's still, yeah, I don't think I've even processed it because I don't think I've talked about it to that many people. It's so long ago, and it's also like, oh fuck yeah, that guy. he, he fucking had 3 keys on his keyboard for laughs, and there would go like ha 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 ha, like yeah,
Like
like
Mario 64 Bowser.
it was the gnarliest shit ever. I did it. I pride myself on being like a live performer guy, and I'm enough decades into the fucking thing that I'm supposed to be on top of my game. But in the moment, I wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, he's gonna do that for me too. I was like, he's gonna figure out after Trey goes,
This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. After Trey basically like goes on strike on stage, he's like,
I love Trey.
"You gonna? Are we gonna keep doing this, or are we gonna stop doing this?" Like, I felt that in Trey's set, and Trey was second of 4, right? So it goes Kurt, Trey, Henri, me. Um,
Okay.
and so I'm like, Henri's fucking gonna fix the room, right?
Yeah, he's great.
No, nobody. If you walk out of seconds on stage, go and you're headlining, smoke a fucking cigarette during Henri's set because he's got it handled.
How long has he been doing it? I've only seen him like a couple of times. But
As long as
every time I've seen him, he's been great.
as long as not as long as I've been doing it, but as long as I've been good, he's been doing it. I heard his name in New Orleans when I'd been doing it like 4 years. So he'd probably already been doing it either as long as me or definitely better than me at that time. So long enough. Let's just say that. Henri's been doing it long enough. He's a respected person. He's good. When I say if I put Henri before me on anything, when I go and smoke during his set, it's not a sign of disrespect. It's a sign of utmost respect. It means
You just don't want that in your head.
yeah. Well, it means that he's got it fucking handled, and that I know the rhythm of the room is going to be right.
Yeah.
I respect him as a professional. I respect him as a person. You know, all that, right? I come back in, and then he's closing it up. I think he finished with his like Star Wars the impressions, but as Star Wars characters, which is like if you.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I'm not gonna even talk about it because it's one of those like if you tell someone about it, it sounds so hack, but they have to be there, right? It's like if you told someone what Oasis was, you'd be like, they'd be like, that's the worst band I've ever heard. I would never listen to that. They'd be like, come on, they had some good records. Like, you can't tell someone that it's good. You just listen to it. Just you're gonna like it or you're not. But everyone fucking likes it. So it's a Star Wars thing. It's got a Cedric the Entertainer impression and a who said someone a bitch?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I can hear the voice, but I can't put anything.
One of the Kings, yeah. One of the Kings, you know.
My instinct would say Bernie Mac, but I don't feel like that's.
Yes, right. Bernie Mac.
It was Bernie Mac. All right.
Yeah, his Bernie Mac as Darth Vader is his closer, right? So I walk in to that Bernie Mac as Darth Vader. He's doing that, and it's got incest jokes. It's great, right? It's fucking killer.
Can't go wrong with an incest joke in Alabama.
In eclectic Alabama, you can't go wrong, right?
Yeah, it's very close to home.
All their ears get hot. It's great. So
probably cousin couples in the audience.
Cousin mama daddies. So they all are like, you know, they're dying laughing. And I catch a hint of the keyboard. He turned it down a little.
So now it's just like ambiance. It's not overpowering. Gotcha.
Yeah. The real laughs in the room are overpowering the keyboard laughs, but they're still fucking there. So then he gets off the stage. He doesn't bring up MC. He goes straight to like genius. Not I mean, that's not a genius move. It's just a pro move. But he's in the moment. Apparently, Trey and Kurt had both thrown it to the MC, and the MC brought the next person up, right? Henri, being a seasoned fucking pro, goes, y'all, thank that. Like, big energy. Woo! Jason Fifi! And then I run up, grab the mic directly out of Henri's hands, and big hug, all that bullshit, right? And he runs off stage. Keyboard guy turns his volume back up.
Fuck.
And you can't hear that because there's no like I can tell where his volume's at. It's just it is what it is. And so how we doing, Eclectic Alabama? How we living? Y'all shooting up chimp semen? What are we up to? Like, what y'all trying to do? What kind of drugs y'all into? I'm talking about legalizing chimp semen, y'all. You know, like I'm getting into my act, right? Like I'm talking about the national organization for the legalization of chimp semen, right? Like I'm talking about Lance Armstrong. I'm talking about Living Strong. I'm talking about Yellow Bracelet. I'm talking about curing testicular cancer with chimp semen.
Fucking eclectic. They probably think that's who landed on the goddamn moon.
Yeah, they did. They seriously did. Because I was like, they were like, astronauts, yes! You know, and I was like, fuck Trek bicycles. Also, NASA, suck my dick. And then they were like, yeah!
Those aren't church words. Those are giggle words.
Don't you say them church words. So it was really fun. And then I'm hearing like the people in the real room, in the meat space room, being like, yeah, fuck telling me not to shoot up chimp semen, right? Like I love steroids. And then he's like, ooh.
Wait, episode of Wings.
Oh,
It's so goddamn uncomfortable.
So I'm like, I look over at dude and I go, yeah, don't do that for the rest of my set, please. Just stone cold. Like,
I really want to understand the thought process. It's like, you know what would make this even better? Is artificial applause.
Well, I knew that it had been happening, and in my brain I was like, leading up to it, I was like, you know what? He's figured it out. It's not gonna be a problem. And now,
Forgetting that you were an eclectic.
No, weirdest thing is the guy who we're talking about, I had worked with when I was like 19 as like a studio guitar player.
Okay.
So I've got like 18 years worth of like dealing with this fucking guy. No,
Gotcha.
not the whole time, but like I remember him from a long time ago. We both were on a Dirty record. If you're not familiar with Dirty, he's a Montgomery trap rapper. One of the most important rap voices in Montgomery, Alabama history. And that guy made the guy's records, and I played guitar on 2 of them. I want to say 2 of them. But I was like 19, and at the time, I don't think I was like, hey, I got to show this guy respect because he put me on Dirty's records. I just remember being like, that's unacceptable. We're doing comedy.
Yeah, that's.
So I told him to stop.
Maybe like if you like played Grammy Award acceptances over like a music track or something. Like it's out of place. It's unearned. It makes no sense at all.
Right.
And it most of all, like especially for guys that move fast like you, it just like completely undermines your rhythm.
Yeah, the big part was the rhythm. Because especially the whole reason I intro the way I intro, the whole reason I like build energy the way I build it is because it's laugh yoga, right? Look up laugh yoga. If you're listening to this, look up laugh yoga. The concept of laugh yoga is you force yourself to laugh, and that makes you actually have a laugh. And that is what we're doing. This is all fake. There's not, none of it's real. There's no such thing as funny. I'm completely fucking with your head. This is not real. What we're doing is a woozy. It's a wazi. It's a martini. It's a numbers game. We're we're fucking with you. What you're doing is you're responding to the rhythm with which that we are throwing at you. And the more shit we throw at you, the better it is or the worse it is. Who knows? I don't know. Ooh, art. Ooh, Robin Williams. Right? That's not real. None of that's real. Nothing's real. Comedy especially is not real. And the rhythm of a room is definitely not real. And to break that fourth wall with a fucking keyboard with laugh tracks on it is to say, hey, your laughs are less real than these fake laughs. Ha ha!
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. I do love.
But yeah, I actually admire you for like the. I don't have the high energy thing. I can tell like drives fucking Kyle insane.
Oh man.
He's like, you should walk around, blah blah blah, and I'm like, you mean take the mic off the stand? That's weight. That's carrying shit. That's work. That's exercise.
Yeah, that sounds like
I'm so low energy, and I'm not gonna lie, it's to my detriment. It absolutely is, but it would feel unnatural for me to like pick it up and pace like I'm a lion looking at a 6-year-old outside of his cage.
Wait, you expect me to do manual labor?
Yeah, I feel like that part's like I haven't got there yet. I know it needs to like the mic needs to leave the stand, and I don't have that. Which is weird because I'm a very like boisterous, in your face person in life, but up there I'm like I might as well be sitting in a fucking recliner instead of a stool.
Yeah, that Columbus, Columbus beer bar thing with the pool tables. That was a fun one because it was like
That was interesting for sure.
Yeah,
Give the mic back to the boy.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
When they called my man boy, like to his face. Poor Anthony, man. God damn. He's the only black person within a 20-mile radius, and they called him boy to his face. But I will say that's ridiculous. I will say the level of balls that kid had.
He really changed the direction of the room in a good way. Like
big time.
He jumped on the grenade.
Yeah, big time.
He leaned into it and it worked.
Oh, they're not responding to material. They are responding to themselves. I'll let themselves be the show. And then he just goes up there and goes,
what the fuck do you want to say? Gas him out.
And then just hands the mic to the first person that said they like pussy. He's like, go off, queen. Boom. Hands the mic off, lets that bitch talk about pussy for like 20 minutes, and then grabs the mic back and goes, your headliner, Jason Fifi.
Yeah, I felt really weird about closing that one because I feel like everything had happened.
Yeah. Wait, you closed that?
Yeah.
You were after me?
Yeah.
I did more time than you.
Yeah.
Why did they put you after me?
I don't know. Actually, I thought me and Jack were after you.
Who?
Jack.
No, Jack was Jack MC'd.
Okay, then yeah, that's right. But yeah, I was the last person.
Why
which
did
I
they
don't think
do
was a
that
great
to
move.
you?
I don't know.
We need to like call up Jack and just whoop his fucking ass verbally.
I just assumed it was your idea.
No, I specifically was like, let me close. I have material. I got these old bitches.
Well, I tell you the truth, I wish that was the case. It wasn't one of my stronger nights.
No, I remember the conversation on the way home, but I definitely remember being like, before you went up, or before I went up, being like, put me last.
Well, that was another thing. Like, I was banking on that crazy bit, and then we talked about this
Yes.
on the way home because someone like finally got her and walked her out of there. I'm like, well, shit, there went 5 minutes.
Yeah. She was talking about like camel semen, and she was talking about sucking off. She was like talking about sucking off a hump, right?
Oh yeah, she was talking about camel shows and stuff like this, and then I think like just someone finally like found their dementia-ridden grandma and walked her out, and then I'm like, well, fuck, I was gonna play with this, and
Yeah.
you stepped on my sandcastle, goddammit.
Yeah. I was so excited for that sandcastle to get to like build columns, and then now
Yeah,
it's
and then like it's
gone.
just gone,
Yeah,
and then
she
like it's
walked
weird
away.
because uh, when she left the room, so did the energy. Like
Yeah, big time. Big time.
it was a rocky start. I think I ended pretty okay, but I was really banking on the crazy bitch.
Yeah, she was like absolutely a Chuck Berry song. Buck Cherry, sorry, Chuck Berry, Buck Cherry. Those are. Do you know that Buck Cherry was a spoonerism of Chuck Berry?
No, that's actually pretty mind blowing to me. I never even thought about that.
It's awful. Makes me really hate Buck Cherry even more.
Yeah, I was like, I love Chuck Berry. I hate Buck Cherry, and the fact that that's
Yeah,
a, any kind of twist or form of that name just makes it all the more upsetting.
it kind of makes you hate them more than you hated them already, right?
Didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, I hated them as much as I possibly could. And when I learned that, it took it to like uh, these knobs go to 11.
They're like right behind Cobain.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking hate those people. So, um, we're gonna pause for 2 seconds. I gotta pee again, and come back, and we might talk about fuck Columbus, Georgia, and fuck beer bars. Seriously, the concept of a beer bar is fucked up because you go into the thing and you're like, oh yeah, I've got a tab. I would like a shot of well whiskey and 2 waters, please. And they go, we don't have whiskey. And I go, cool. What is the well tequila? And they go, nothing. We don't do that either. And you go, yes. Well, vodka.
Why is there a bartender?
Say it again.
Why is there a bartender?
Yeah. Let me walk up to a cooler and grab the beer if that's all you have.
Could you legally do that if you just had a beer bar? Could you just have a guy watching the front and then just like a vending machine with Bud Light logo down the front?
Go ahead. Yeah. A guy just like arms crossed, take it. Yeah.
No, you have to put the money in. It's going to come out like a standard soda machine.
Yep, exactly.
Check IDs, take a cover that you fuck off and get your like middle school vending machine beer.
Yeah, you're allowed to have that. Cool. Yeah, that's all that exists. But it's some lady that's like running around acting stressed out, right? Like, what's difficult about you going?
Yeah, they didn't even have draft. It was like a woman in front of 2 refrigerators.
Yeah, like here's a 24-ounce can of Michelob Ultra. That's
like if you ever like gone to get yourself a beer and got someone else a beer like while you're doing it, that was her job.
Yeah, exactly. It is literally the equivalent of not doing anything.
Yeah, but I will say this, like, and I don't mean to shit. The lady was fantastic. She was great. She was hilarious. So like,
No, she was. Oh my god.
she was wonderful. So like obviously like it's like any bar, you tip the personality.
Right.
Um,
And she had it in spades.
she was tremendous. I feel like she's probably drinking buddies with Crazy Fish that got dragged out during the close.
Yeah, she obviously felt bad about it. When I talked to her about it, she was like, "Yeah, I wish she hadn't gotten dragged out either."
No, like at first she was like, I wish she wouldn't be there ruining the rhythm. And then I came and I lamented. And I was like, man, I was really banking on her still being there because she was unique.
Yeah, she was special.
And, yeah, she's a unique and beautiful snowflake. And
Yeah,
then she got dragged out. She's like, yeah, I wish she would have not either stayed the whole time or not come at all. Oh, that sounds about right.
yeah, yeah. That's how you know someone's really smart. Like as a bartender, you're like, those are the options. I wish she had either been able to hang out all night, or she hadn't come.
Yeah, like that lady had seen, like you could tell she was like she's been down the entirety of the road. Like she knows how things are going to play out if they go a certain way. Like she knew the room better than anybody.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had a blast. That was a really fun night. Oh man,
That's actually the farthest from home I've ever done stand up.
man, we got to get you further out of town. I have nothing to say about that, by the way, because coronavirus is going on. But when this shit is over, let's get you the fuck out of here. Let's get you some like Nashville dates.
Yeah, I'd do it. Like it's kind of weird, like doing it in such a bubble that we have because very small audiences. Most of them are like people. So like I feel like it's hard to improve upon existing material because if you've done it twice, like most of the people in the room have heard it. So you can't really gauge if it's an improvement if you make any alterations.
That's one of the like points of privilege that I have is like starting as young as I did is there was no comedy.
How old were you?
15, 16. 15 15's the first set and then 16 was the first road gig. So
see, that's fucking awesome.
21 years ago.
And don't do the math, that's disrespectful.
Say it again.
So don't do the math, that's disrespectful.
Yeah, 21 years ago. Um the local scene didn't exist. There wasn't a local scene. It was like I would go to karaoke things and be like, let me do Sound of Silence. And then I would just do jokes over it and make rednecks laugh. And that was super fun. And the road thing was about selling tickets. It was about bringer shows. And then I read Hegel and I learned that bringer shows were bullshit, right? When you really dig into Marx, you learn not to do bringer shows. But I rode trains anyway, so then it was like so I did New Orleans, I did Nashville, I did Atlanta, North Carolina, Charlotte had like 3 or 4 really good comedy clubs. Richmond, Virginia. I did the 40 watt with what's the guy that did sound effects from Police Academy?
Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow. I got to open for Michael Winslow when I was like 17. So I've had a really privileged stand-up comedy career.
That's almost an oxymoron.
So. Yeah, exactly. I say I've had a privileged stand-up comedy career. I've had a privileged existence, and stand-up comedy has been part of it, right?
See, it actually astounds me that you're not a story guy.
Well, because all my stories are just stories, right?
All stories are just stories.
No, wrong. All stories are not just stories. So stories are just stories. However, story guys aren't just guys that have stories.
You paint them that way.
Yeah. Well, I don't paint you that way. I think that's kind of what I was trying to get into is like the nuance between like what an idea of like a guy that has a fuckload of stories versus what a good story comic B is, right?
Gotcha.
And there's guys that are like crush dick story guys, and there's guys that are like have shitloads of story. Like, do you know who John Oakley is?
Yeah, Big John Oakley. Yeah.
Yeah, goddamn right.
I
Big John
can't
Oakley.
imagine just like releasing albums of crowd work. I've never even attempted crowd work.
Oh no, you're thinking of
Oh,
Big
Okerson.
J Oakley.
Okerson, no.
Okerson. John Oakley, Montgomery John Oakley. The blues man
That
John
name sounds
Oakley.
familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, John Oakley. Yeah. I love John Oakley.
Yeah. John
I don't know why that
Oakley,
went in my head. Yeah, like I actually ran into him like a few weeks ago at 1048, like almost right before this happened.
yes. John Oakley has better stories than you and me combined, right?
All right, maybe. But yeah, he told me we were drinking one time, and he told me about the time he threw up on a stripper.
That's a great story. He
Yeah,
had
it is a great story.
for John Oakley, that's like a 4.5 out of 10 story.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I one of the things I run into is it's not.
I love that you keep your cup and your like poor thing out of frame.
Yeah, just I don't want Mark Zuckerberg to know what I'm up to. But
This isn't on Facebook.
it will be. Everything ends up on Facebook.
That's true.
But no, I don't even think like when I decide what to do in terms of the craziest story, it's the story that's most easily converted into joke.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I've bombed like a motherfucker going up there and telling a story that I thought was just funny because of what happened, and it didn't work because it didn't translate to stand up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like I'm trying to think of which one it was. There was one I can't remember exactly what it was that happened. Like after it happened, I'm like, we got to go up there and tell this, and I just ate my dick for like 5 minutes, and then I just had to switch gears.
Oops. I clicked on my goddamn taskbar. Paint 3D tried to open. I'm sorry. I'm not
I don't
trying
know
to
what that means.
detract from us having stories. Sorry. It is like straight up almost 2 hours into us recording. So we do need to wrap it up. I appreciate you coming on. Big time.
It was great being on here.
Yeah, want you on again sometime. We're gonna watch what is that called?
Only the Strong with Mark Dacascos.
We're gonna watch Only the Strong. Probably next week, maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. Who knows? Definitely want to have Kyle Miner on if he hasn't seen it, especially because if he has seen it, then it's not really even worth him watching it, right?
We can make him watch something equally shitty.
Avatar.
Equally shitty. Okay, Avatar isn't like so bad it's good. It's just fucking bad.
I've never seen it.
I would probably push the Billy Blank's Karate Kid knockoff I was discussing earlier.
Hell yeah! Actually, I'll need to like get the name of that.
Showdown.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the Only the Strong in the YouTube link for this so people can watch it before they watch us watch it. So that's what's gonna happen next Saturday or Sunday, depending on what your off days are. Appreciate.
Well, I'm gonna be off like in the evening either way, so whatever works better for you.
Cool.
Like we're closing shop at 2:30 in the afternoon, so.
Hell yeah. So if not Saturday, then next Friday. I've got guests lined up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So either you'll be on Friday or Saturday. Thank you again for coming on. This is a podcast called The Great Satan. It is about every aspect of American imperialism and how we can destroy it from the inside or from the outside. If you're looking at this from the outside, then I feel empathy for you and sympathy for you. I'm super sorry. Look at me, closing one eye, opening the other eye. That's because this is how we deal with the great Satan from it within it. Cheers. Cheers to living inside of American imperialism. This is the Chromatics Night Drive running up the hill. I wish I'd pushed it a little further into it before I hit start, so that it would start when the bass starts.
See, it really doesn't play well on the other end of Zoom. Are you about to make me put down the guitar again?
Running up that road, running up that hill, running up that building.
Who is this?
Yo, it's a cover of the Kate Bush song, "Running Up That Road," running up the hill. Sorry.
I like that. I've been on like an 80s like new wave-ish kind of kick lately, so it like fit right in.
I'm gonna have to send you a whole bunch of shit. By the way, anybody that's listening to this, Leland Sklar has been producing YouTube content.
Oh fuck! I thought we stopped.
Yes, exactly. This shit's been on point for the past like, I don't know, month and a half. Me, unhappy, and if I only could make a deal with God and get her to swap our places and be running up that road, running up that hill, running up that building.
Yeah. This thing really looks like a Purell jug.
I got this much booze left. We're gonna hit end meeting right now. I'm gonna hit end meeting, and that's gonna mean that we're actually no. I'm gonna hit stop recording first. God damn.
See, I thought you did that earlier.
Slapback delay.
Are you in like a rotating swivel chair?
Yeah, my computer throne's a drum throne. Come on.
You know that Thomas Jefferson invented the swivel chair?
Let's explore this moment from you now. Come on, baby. Come on, darling. Let's exchange the experience and get her to swap our places.